just don't know. I don't know. I'm looking, yeah.
Marc Clarke, that's classic. I love it.
And welcome to the Marc Clarke Show. Bootsy Vegas is live. What's up, Bootsy?
Good morning, my brothers. Hello.
What's up, Boots?
How you doing, Dr. Greg Bell?
You the man. You the man with the plan.
And let me tell you something. If I had your hands, I'd cut mine off.
Well, I tell you what, you better keep both of them because I tell you, we need you.
Hey, let me tell you something. I'm a lot of things, but a doctor ain't one of them, Dr. Greg Bell.
And I only play that on radio shows.
So, Bootsy, as you can see, Dr. Bell is a live wire. He's my man, 50 grand. Dr. Bell, like you, Bootsy, we're going to announce the new season of Play Space, our podcast. But today, Bootsy, I want to feature Dr. Bell. We're going to talk about overcoming challenges.
He's worthy to be praised, Mark. He's worthy to be praised.
He's worthy to be praised. Dr. Bell, don't let the good looks fool you, ladies. Dr. Bell is a warrior. If you got to fight a bear, you want him on your side. You want Dr. Bell on your side.
Oh wow!
If you got a war to fight, if you need one more point to win the game, Dr. Bell's the guy. So, Bootsy, Dr. Bell's story. What I love about Dr. Bell's story is, number one, many people did not know Dr. Bell's whole story. I'm talking about people who witnessed him be a star athlete. People witnessed him get his doctorate. It witnessed him, Bootsy, just be a winner throughout his life. Dr. Bell had a secret. And it's so crazy, Bootsy, you know how it's such a small universe. You know how DC is, especially. It's a small universe where everybody knows everybody, right? And so I talked to different people about Dr. Bell. And again, Dr. Bell, also an educator, but Dr. Bell, the young athlete, people, were singing his praises, how nice Dr. Bell was, how amazing his game was. Now, Dr. Bell purposely had a secret, Bootsy, he did not share because he didn't want people to look at him a certain way. And even now, where he's shared the secret, those who played with him, I think still some of them didn't understand or don't understand exactly his life story. That secret, Bootsy, was Dr. Bell, though he was a star player, was legally blind. I'm talking about, he wasn't a player like he played on the team. He was a star of the team. As quarterback, Bootsy, wow. And as an all-star guard, this brother, with his classmates didn't know he was legally blind the whole time. So the funny part, Bootsy, about how we interpret and how we even hear people that we know and love, is I was talking to one of Allison's coworkers who went to school with Dr. Bell and was talking about how nice he was. He was, man, let me tell you something. He was nice on the court, man, He's like, man, he was good, man, until he went blind. But the part that was crazy, Bootsy, was he didn't go blind. He was blind the whole time. But that's how the person's mind interpreted it. So Dr. Bell, first of all, Doc, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Bootsy. Glad to be here.
And so, Doc, tell us that process, because again, so Bootsy, just like you, me and Dr. Bell are close. It's my man, 50 grand. We're friends, and so I know the whole story.
I can tell, Mark. Y'all definitely got best friend vibes written all over y'all.
And so, Doc, tell us your story for where it began. And you from DC, Bootsy, so you're gonna know all the points that he's gonna bring out. So, tell us the story, Bell. Yeah. From the beginning.
Yeah, love to you, Bootsy, my homeboy from DC.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a native of Washington, D.C. Grew up right there on Constitution Avenue Northeast. They call it Lincoln Park, right across the street from Maury Elementary School. I went to 2 elementary schools while we were there. We stayed there until 1963. So I was 7 years old. I went to Lovejoy first for primary school. And the story that Mark is talking about is one of my homeboys from Riggs Park played 2 years ahead of me at Coolidge. He's in the media world, and they really never knew the secret, and the secret was a personal secret. It really was about up until 7 years old, leaving Lovejoy Elementary and then going to Maury Elementary. I had a great opportunity to, at 8 years old, when we moved to Riggs Park, right there. There was, some people call it the Fort Tartan areas, the Lamont Riggs, Riggs Park, Michigan Park area.
All those
right
names really
from LaSalle Elementary.
Right. This is all those names.
Yeah. And then, and also in the area of the Bertie Backus area, right there off South Dakota Avenue. But LaSalle was right there off of Riggs Road, Madison Street, Nicholson, and 6th Street. But the long and short of it is that the playground became like a boys' club to us. And what does that mean? Boys and the girls club. We didn't have an interior except we had a rec center. Back then in DC, we had recreation centers. They had police precincts. Now, the only boys club that I grew up knowing in DC was Easton Boys Club, right? And then Jelliff Boys Club, Easton being in Northeast and Jelliff being in Northwest. That's pretty much where black athletes pretty much had an opportunity to play on teams in boys club. But Lamont Riggs, we had, our boys club was in the basement of a church right off of New Hampshire Avenue in the basement of the church. The long and short of the story was, though, I've been blessed. And then most recently, I'm now able in my professional life to try to do what I call to be an advocate, to encourage people, to inspire people, to outreach to people, and more importantly, to uplift people. Because at 8 years old, when we moved to Riggs Park in 1963, I was 7 years old. We used to go to a place called Group Health Association, right? So for government workers, my parents were federal government, this government, we went to an eye test. And what I did, Bootsy and Mark, is that before the eye doctor, ophthalmologist came in, optometrist is the one who does surgery. Optometrists are those who go in and check your eyes and give you an eye exam, right? Well, there's a chart. And before the doctor came in, the eye doctor came in, what I did, Bootsy and Mark, is I memorized the eye chart. Wow. Because the only thing I could see was the big E. Why did I memorize it? Because as an athlete, remember, 8 years old, as Mark said, I played pretty critical positions, if you may want to think about it. On a baseball team, softball team, I was the pitcher. On a football team, I was early on a running back, but then I changed to quarterback and safety. And then on basketball, I was the point guard. So I realized that in those critical positions, those are really leadership roles, right? Mm-hmm. And so, with me being born in August, they said, well, Greg, you're Leo, but you can lead. I said, well, you can lead, but you can lead legally blind. In my own mind, I never shared that story because if Bootsy and Mark, if they found out that all I could see with the big E, they said, cover your left eye, cover your right eye. And they said, what's the first line? I memorized the next line, the third line. And I would remember the first three letters. And I said, well, it's a little blurry. The other letters are a little blurry. Why is that? You had to pass the physical. Now, while being an athlete was about physical development, gross motor activity, your large muscles, and fine motor, being able to write and take notes in school, the physicalness was about being in shape. But you had to pass the physical to medical in order for them to think that your heartbeat was cool, your eyesight was cool, your hearing, boom, 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 boom. Man, I'm telling you what, I memorized that joint. As soon as I got out of that, I said, I get to play. But I could not tell the coach. And it was that was in 1964 at NIH, right there in Bethesda. About 7 doctors came out and told my mom and dad, who my parents now be married like 68 years come this June, right? Yes. June of 2022. They got married at 20 and 21. So here's what happened. 3 boys and 2 brothers and a sister, 4 of us, both my parents, native Washingtonian out of Cadoza. I had a chance to grow up, Bootsy and Mark, never knowing that my parents called me handicapped. They said, you're handicapable. Handed an opportunity, you're capable of doing anything. And today's jargon is now disability. And I said, well, I'm not going to let anybody diss my ability because the disability, the way I spell it, you guys, is D-I-S, that's small, capital A through Y is ability. If I got Mark and Bootsy on my team, we get ready to rock this joint. I ain't just playing. 2 goals I had in mind. I'm going to make sure that Mark and Bootsy are superstars. But I want to make sure that we win the championship and at the end of the season, I get that MVP trophy.
Hey, nothing like a good plan, Dr. Bell.
Thank you, man. I tell you what, it's just a plan that's vertical, though, Doc. As a point guard, my vertical is just finger rolling. But my real vertical was about understanding that if I just listen to God, he said to me that you can step out on faith the size of the mustard seed. And the mustard seed is so small, I challenge both of y'all to try to find that mustard seed.
Absolutely.
So, Doc, you basically were diagnosed. Your parents still encouraged you to play. You never told the coaches.
Never.
And you went on to be a star player.
Never told my teammates either. And so I went on and had after 19, we won the championship quarterback in 1968.
Now,
95 pounds. That's Lamar Riggs Boys Club.
Okay.
And the coach was Twyman. Matter of fact, we're getting ready to do a celebration on May 14th, 2022, which is coming up in another month at Lamar Riggs. We're expecting about 3,000 people. And the president of Channel 9, Richard Dyer, is going to be our keynote speaker. His brother, Steve Dyer, was my third baseman.
Wow.
He was my shooting guard, and he was the one who played for St. Anthony's with John Thompson Sr.
So,
after he left St. Anthony, then he went to Georgetown.
So then you went on to play in high school.
Played high school. I played at the Mather in 1970 on the freshman team. And during that time, my classmate was the current governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan. And also,
I know Hogan was not a baller.
Well, he was the manager.
There we go.
He was indeed.
Everything about him says manager. Ain't nothing
he
about
was a manager, but he was a smart manager because not only could he manage, but he also, he did a lot of work out during that time. Adrian Dantley was actually varsity, and Larry used to work him out with Coach Morgan Wooten. We took history with Morgan Wooten. So Adrian was in the class and Larry Hogan at the time. The third baseman is lieutenant governor. My third baseman was Boyd Rutherford. Again, nobody knew because I wore black framed eyeglasses. And so when we talk about bullying, as an athlete with eyeglasses, black frame, the issue was people calling you four eyes. Well, but my older brother was my back catcher. And so Bootsy and Mark, what he would do is instead of giving me the signal under the glove, he would do like this. So, with that modality, we have 5 modalities, but my 6th modality was I listened for the sound for the strike zone.
Wow.
And that's what I do.
Wow.
Come on now.
First things first, though, before we move on, for people who do not know, Lamar Riggs is probably the oldest youth organization in DC. They are still to this day going strong. Their alumni association is massive. I work for the Department of Recreation right now.
Oh yeah.
There's a guy named Toby Strong. Big Toby tell everybody this is the Lamar Riggs division of DPR. That's how deep they go. Also, they have a new state-of-the-art rec center at Riggs Road as well.
Yes,
so
sir.
For everybody who's in the DC area, they have, and Mark, this is no exaggeration, they have the deepest youth alumni association, I think, in America. Like when he tells you it's 3,000 strong, it's literally 3,000 strong. And for some reason, they keep this connection all throughout life. So amazing.
I love you, Bootsy. I love you, man, because you're telling nothing but the truth. And then the word truth, TRUTH, is the word hurt, HURT. And so I have a number of different truths. He just hit it hard because he's right. JB on Channel 9, James Brown, Adrian Dantley, he hit it right. Tyrone Barber. And he's talking about Toby Settles, whose wife is Shalita Settles. She also sings blues, etc. She's
amazing singer, Mark. Like I'm
absolutely. I was telling you, Mark, when I went down to Westminster on Monday night, she sung. She was the key. She's been going for the last 13 years. But here's the deal. He's right. Toby, wife, Shalita, who went to McKinley Tech, actually.
Great high school there. But hold on.
Hold up, baby. In the house. Go ahead, trainer. Go ahead.
Great high school there.
Trainer. Go ahead, baby.
That guy, baby. Huh?
What junior high? Langley or Taft?
I went to Emory Elementary, Langley Junior High School, and McKinley Tech Senior High School.
Go ahead, boy, in the house. So look, Doc.
Shout out to McKinley Armstrong.
Go ahead, Doc. You the man. See, here's what happened, Doc. So in 70, I played freshman at the Mather. Then I was a walk-on, right? Back then they were recruiting people from CYO. Well, I was, coming from Jesse LaSalle, man. I was coming from Remote, right? And what happened was, then I came back and by going to Riggs, I went to Roland Crest, was the Maryland guy. I said, Greg, come on and run the point for us in Roland Crest. So I would walk from Maryland across the DC line to go to Roland Crest. Guys busted on me. And so I had to then go back to Remote. And at Remote, there was Coach Tony Upson. He'd already had his team. So my coach, Ray Plounder, said from Lamont Ridge, said, Greg, you should go to the Mouth. I said, Coach, I don't even know what the Mouth is. That was 1970. So I walked on with the freshman team there. And our star then was Eric Cord. Eric went to Rabot, but he then got recruited to play at the Mather. So that was the freshman team. Then I transferred to Mackin because it was JoJo Hunter there, and
JoJo Hunter is from my neighborhood. Shout out to
right,
JoJo.
And then you had Hawkeye. But I'm gonna tell you the story that's gonna connect us. So what happened was, they moved from 15th Street to California Avenue, going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and my dad said, "Man, you ain't got to go to school more than 3 days, a week." And so I said, okay, Dad, I want to transfer. I'll transfer to Carroll. Eddie Jordan was varsity with Skip McDaniel and them, Ron Jordan and them. They had a boss team, Art Daniel. That was varsity. So I played JV with a guy named Tyrone Howells and Overton Wilkins and Kevin Jackson and them. The next thing I know, I was on JV, and my coach was Coach DeStefano. At the Mather, it was Hank Galata, right? Hank Galata left the Mather, went up to Coach Tracy Jackson, who played at Silver Spring. We used to play against them, Lamont Ridge, and you know about Silver Spring. Then Doc Bootsy. Tracy was coached by Hank Galata. They won the state at Maryland. I then transferred because I got picked up in the summer by Coach Frank Williams, who changed my life. He recruited me to play at Coolidge as a starting point guard in 1972. So I didn't have to walk on. I finally got recruited. He saw me on the playground. We were like winning 8 games in a row and playing at LaSalle. If you lose, you got to go home or you're going to watch the game for the rest of the day. So what happened was Steve got recruited by Big John Thompson to go to St. Anthony with Tyrone Best. I played college ball at UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County with Tyrone Best. I was the point guard there. And then I got into some academic. I'm going to be real honest. HOT, honest, open, and transparent. I had some academic issues. I was a 3.8 in high school, 1.1 first semester at UMBC.
Not 1.1.
Yes, sir. Because I went to the PARTY party, Bootsy. Mark, I went to the PARTIES, and my GPS went from a 3.8 to a 1.1. Oh, wow. Fast forward, I gave up basketball. I kept my academic scholarship, and here's what happened. I went 10 years straight, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, Howard University for my master's and advanced certificate, and my PhD from 1980 to 84 at Ohio State. I was 27 years old, and I used a paperweight. Bootsy, I never turn on a computer in my life. Yes, I do. Can I go
get it real quick? Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna so Bootsy again.
Now the amazing thing is there were some key names that he said that people may get. Eddie Jordan ended up becoming the Washington Wizards head basketball coach. He's like the all-time leading scorer at Rutgers University. So shout out to him. Now the other thing is that massive basketball arena at Coolidge is named after Frank R. Williams.
That's right.
That he's talking about. So the most luxurious high school basketball arena in DC has been there for the last 30 years. It's named after Frank Williams, who is an absolute immortal, eternal legend in the DC area as a basketball coach. So for people
Bootsy, you got it, man. I tell you what, Bootsy, for a tech man, you got a lot of history. And the bottom line, we love you for that. I tell you who I played against at Cricket. I played against Cricket. You remember Cricket? You grew up
absolutely.
With yeah.
Also,
yeah.
Lonnie Perrin.
Lonnie
Perrin.
You're like, well, Lonnie, my man. Lonnie,
come on now, I know.
He played for the Denver Broncos, man. Lonnie just passed, man.
Yeah. He worked for DPR. He worked for he was working for the Department of Recreation.
That's right. Bootsy, there it is. This at 12 years old, I found this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I found that on as a paperweight when I was working for the DC government. I used that to read stuff, and this is how big I write right here, man. I've been writing like this since 3rd grade. So I wrote my dissertation with this kind of print.
Amazing.
But I didn't care what people thought about me because I would always run my business while people run their mouth.
So what I wanted, the reason, again, in addition to Dr. Bell, my man, just being an amazing human being.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. I'm blessed.
Bootsy. He has his doctorate.
Man.
He has his doctorate.
These are glasses right here. I went professor from black frame to these. But I ain't worn these in 15 years.
Well, you look good in them.
This is what he used to pursue a doctorate. Do you know how much, how I just think about that, how much work it was to go. And so his mindset, though, it speaks to a consciousness, doesn't it, Bootsy? He ain't gonna lose. You ain't gonna outwork. Yeah. You're not gonna outwork Dr. Bell.
That's a whole different level of mental and mentality. Dr. Bell, just for people who are still trying to grasp this amazing story.
Yes, sir.
Where did this mental strength come from? Like, this ain't no regular, normal, day-to-day mental strength. Where do you think you developed this mentality and mental strength from?
I got it from my parents, Marion and Clifton Bell, who knew each other in elementary school. And they also I had a primary teacher named Miss Tatum, who actually was the young man, Brad Tatum, who mother taught me in kindergarten before I went to Maury. And what I realized was faith is really the acronym finding answers in the heart. My parents are heartfelt. If you meet them, and when you meet them, they've already adopted Mark. They've adopted Allison and the 3 daughters.
Yeah, it's hard not to love Mark, Dr. Bell. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's hard not to love him. I said it's hard not to like Mark.
Right. So it really was the strong sense of faith. So the three focus areas for me would be faith, family, friends. But I've added one as I got older, as well as foe. I want to keep my enemies very close to me, because there are those who still believe that I'm not legally blind. There are those because
wait a minute, stop, Doc.
Because of this right here. And when I pull this out though, Bootsy, you know what that is right there, Bootsy?
Oh God, Coolidge.
Yep, I got this in 1972. This is a 50-year-old practice jersey.
Wait a minute, stop
right here. Eyes looking at it.
Wait, Bootsy, we need to stop right here. But Bootsy, we need to stop right here.
Yeah, man, because this is
Bootsy. People who do not believe that Doc is legal. People who in their mind say, "Nah,
this can't be it. This can't be what's happening here."
Why would, first of all, why would we
fake being blind?
And why would somebody even waste their thought process thinking that all this stuff that he got, all these awards that he receives, it's fake? He just faking that to get ahead. I mean, Bootsy, that's sad. But you know what? What I'm realizing, I said this today on my walk. I thought I posted it, but it looked like I didn't post. I was posting. I had the thought came to me. The saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't. Right?
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
The thought came to mind though was, if you don't love yourself, and if you don't know yourself,
yes, sir,
then if it seems too good to be true, it probably isn't, can make you attract the very worst thing to you.
Yeah.
You meet somebody who loves you, you reject them. Yeah. You meet opportunities that could change your life, you reject it. Right. Because what? If it's too good to be true, it probably isn't. When I look at my life, I was, thanks to my mother and whatever, ignorant enough to know to expect the very best.
Yes.
Why not? Like, you know, that I hear people say, a lot of times people say, well, if, you know, they mean it for good, but a part of me thinks, when they say, well, if you don't see it, if you never saw a black president, you never thought you could be president. Yeah. I never didn't think I couldn't be president.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's many things that I have in my life that I never saw, but I never thought I could not be a part of it.
Yeah.
Dr. Bell's a prime example. Like, so because it doesn't, people say, well, let's think about if we use that logic. Dr. Bell is a pitcher. He can't, Dr. Bell is legally blind.
Right.
How can he throw a strike if he's legally blind? People nowadays will write a whole paper on why he can't throw a strike.
Right.
Dr. Bell was throwing strikes.
And that's what, so legally blind for me is macular degeneration, which when you become an adult is called, you know, I had juvenile macular degeneration. So I sent a sight, they told me in 64, 10 feet in front of me, I can't see anything. 20, but I have 20/20 peripheral. So I had the same peripheral to everybody else. So, you know, that I create what I call that, I knew the thing called no look pass. Well, I looked, but I saw things, but I didn't, like, it's like now, Mark, I'm looking at you. I can't tell the color of your eyes, whether it's brown, blue, gray. I really don't care. What I know is from your heart, we're teammates. And my goal was to get the ball to you and get it to Bootsy. Because the bottom line is when y'all touch it, y'all feel a part of it.
Wow.
Right? And so that's the same thing about what you just said. Self-love. Understanding you begins and ends with you. What do you mean? The word understanding starts with you and the while you ends in you. So in between the two yous, once you understand you, but the greatest challenge of people is trying to understand who they are, because they get so many negative messages about who they are that my positivity is contagious. I'm going to work you with love. And as Tina Turner said, what love got to do with it? Everything.
And like Coach said, Dr. Bell said, I meet Dr. Bell's father. And again, the first part that killed me was we walk around this beautiful home, beautiful yard. Dr. Bell's like, my parents still do the yard work. They're in their 80s. Okay, that's one thing.
You get ready to turn 89. You get ready to turn 89.
So that's one.
Wow.
The thing, Bootsy, is Dr. Bell's dad shows me so much love and loves me so much, right? Now, as a man who did not have a father in his life, but I was the women in my life, my uncles, different men, the love the fact I feel that's there, but that kind of love, you can do anything. You can move mountains. You can
encouragement.
Encouragement.
And that's what I realized growing up. My mom, single mom, that whole, we all know that line. But what I had, not physical, but I had that love. And with that love, you can't be stopped with that love, because when you have that love, the funny part is it repels. People think it attracts, but it actually repels negative things, because you can see it coming down the pipe. When somebody with a negative energy, it's like our show, Bootsy. It's like what it mean do, what we do, Doc. Yeah. If somebody comes in the chat and they say something crazy, they sound and look crazy. Yeah. Because we're not used to. Me and Allison, our social media. A lot of people, I hate Facebook, I hate Instagram, I hate social media. Well, we don't because we use it with love. So any kind of negative comments that come in, it just looks crazy. People, I remember people cracked on me the weight or this and that, and then other people just defend it. Yeah. So it's almost like you have a protective layer, because all we're doing is being an opportunity to share love. And so I wanted to have Doc on, not only to promote the fact that the new season of Play Space is coming up and we'll be doing that, but I wanted the world to know this brother right here. Because again, if you see, let me tell you something. Because Dr. Bell's a good-looking guy, he's fly. So when you see him the first time, you see Doc out at Sean Yancey's Girls Night Out with his pink blazer and his white hair and his waves, Bootsy, you just think he's another. You just think he's another fly dude. You don't know.
Looking like a DC Billy D. Williams. Boy.
Right. You don't know he's Dr. Bell. You don't know that he actually, by day, he's this brother that's doing great work in the school system. You just think he's another fly cat, but you don't know his story. And the crazy part is, Bootsy, like we said, even to this day, some of Dr. Bell's friends still be like, because in a way, just think about it. All those years you were getting them passes, you were getting those pitches, you were getting those touchdowns. Yeah. And it was coming from a cat who really wasn't even seeing you. It makes you almost challenge your whole life.
And definitely not seeing the whole thing. But I can tell you what, this Big D developed my confidence. As you know, Bootsy, the Mather was about Catholic League as well as the DC area DMV dynasty in basketball. And then, but this is really what made me, man. Without playing high school at Coolidge.
It's hurt my eyes looking at it, Dr. Bell. Dr. Bell is as a McKinley Tech trainer, it's hurt my eyes looking at them C's like that.
Good, man. I know you want to have that. What is it? Burgundy, maroon, and what? Black?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We love you, man. We love the Tech thing, but I'm gonna tell you something. The finest ladies in the city came from Coolidge, Tech, and Wilson, brother. So you got to remember now. Despite my sight, I dated the homecoming queen because I knew that it was about the words, man. The words from the heart.
Well, speaking of homecoming queen, can you tell us the line that you used to pull her if you dated them? Like, I would love to know. What would you say?
Absolutely. I said, you know what? It's more importantly for you to know that whatever I say to you, I'm going to show you. And more importantly, when I show you, I won't be from Missouri. I'll be from Coolidge.
Hey,
I
Doc.
look like me now. And the other thing was the homecoming. You know how it works. You come all the way across the field. She was so fine. The fellow said, "Oh my God, oh my God." They kept saying, "Oh my God, oh my God." And then by the time they got to me, they had no words. I said, "Say what? Say what? Say what?" Oh man, you got to come up with some lyrics, bro.
Okay, Doc, I got this one line that I've been using on the ladies for a long time. Can you tell me, do you think if this is a good line or not?
Let's
okay.
go. Yes,
And then we're going to move in. So
right.
I'll walk up to a lady and I'll say, "Excuse me, I'm not really from DC. Are you from Tennessee?" And then she'll say, No, I'm not. I'm like, "Well, you got to be, because you're the only 10 I see around here."
Oh my God. Hey, Doc, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you right now, you know how to win with the 10, and you know they gonna let you in. You the bad dude. You the bootsy rubber band, baby. You the bootsy.
Talk to me, Doc.
I love you, boy.
Okay. Hey, and I love you more for validating my pickup line.
Oh my God.
Well, wait a minute. Tiffany just said that's old, Bootsy. Sorry.
Okay, it's new to me.
So me, just like we have the show, me and Doc have Play Space.
Yes, sir.
We got a new season.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be announcing the date. We'll start the new season. And this time, now that COVID's opened up, Bootsy, in addition to doing the show, we're going to be having some events around Play Space too. So,
yes.
And then Bootsy, you also have another show you do, Bootsy. We're going to start promoting these shows on this show.
Absolutely.
Bootsy, you're still doing your show. What's your other show?
Well, the only show that I am legally bounded to through payment is the Marc Clarke Morning Show, MCM Entertainment. I am faithful. I am loyal. The only other show I do is Deanwood Radio Broadcast for the Department of Recreation.
Deanwood, bad man, y'all was some serious athletes, man. My boy Maurice Beanie Banks and Lele. I know their family came from there before they moved over to Riggs. Yeah,
absolutely, Coach. Dr. Bell, I would love to ask you. So, at what point, when you're learning that you're legally blind, you are trying to transition to it, when did it click that you had this figure out and you was going to be okay? Because I know normally it's probably a few weeks of apprehension, disappointment or whatever. Can you take me through the steps of learning the diagnosis and then learning that you were going to be able to live with it and survive and be productive?
Yes. So what I did is I went through a progression. First of all, I listened, right? Because when you listen to people, then they really tell you the truth. And what the doctors told my mom and dad was that at 1964, 8 years old at NIH, that there's nothing they could do for me. That eyeglasses would not give me 20/20 eyesight, and an operation would not correct it. So it was inoperable, not curable. So my dad said to me in front of my mom, "Okay, so Greg, what we will do is," there were like 7 white ophthalmologists, they diagnosed eye disease. He looked at them and said, he looked at me and looked at my mom. My mom's a non-driver. And so he said, "Well, thank you. We appreciate the diagnosis. And Greg, what do you want to hear, the good news or the bad news first?" I said, "I want to hear the good news first." He said, "Well, okay. What we're going to do is we're going to leave here. I'm going to drive you guys home. I want you to get a bite to eat, do your homework, and you can go to practice." I said, "Cool, that sounds good." I said, "So what's the bad news?" He said, "Well, the bad news is that you're legally blind and you will never be able to have a driver's license, but you will be able to continue to drive to the hoop. You'll continue to be able to drive the team down the football field. You'll continue to be able to bunt, drop your bat, drive it, or you can drive it over the fence. Just remember, driving is about eyesight. I want you to remember that you have vision." And so I created then my mantra, which is still with me today. So my dad and mom, basically, the message was, "Greg, focus on your vision, not your sight. Pursue excellence." And so there's nothing good about this story.
Come on now.
And it is all about excellence, because we know that there are 26 letters in the alphabet. And when I look at the word good, G-O-D, G is the 7th letter, O is the 15th, O is the 15, and D is A, B, C, D. That's 4 points. So if I had 15 points in the game with the 2 O's, 15 and 15, that's 30 points. I add the G, that's 37 points. And I add that 4, that's 41 points. I said, so that score is 41. You can either pursue good or you can look at pursue excellent. So the P is the 16th letter of the alphabet. U is the 21st. R is the 18th. S is the 19th, U again is 21, and E is A, B, C, D, E. That's 5. So if I look at excellent, then E is 5, X is the 24th, C in excellent is 3, E is 5, L and L is 12 and 12, E is 5, N is 14, and T is 20. I add pursue up, that's 100. I look at excellent, that's 100. So my speaking name is Dr. 100%, Bootsy and Mark. Because why? Because I learned at 8 years old, if you pursue good, you're going to have 41 points. But if you pursue excellent, you're going to be 100 points. And at the end of the game, you will be a winner in life by 59 points. Because good is not good enough. Give it your best, pursue excellent, and do not allow anybody to diss your ability. So I learned that at 8, and I've been living with that ever since.
Okay. So hold on, because first of all, that is amazing. But can you take me back to that day? What that felt like for your father, despite what they diagnosed you as a child? What did that mean to you? What did it do for you as bonding with your father, or just in life when your father gave you that speech immediately after that bad news?
Well, that made me feel as though I could trust him. And so therefore, the 3 F's that I now use, Greg, what is your foundation? What are the fundamentals? And what's the framework of your life? And it's based on faith. It's based on if you have faith, and that's what I began to do at 8 years old, because I could not tell my teammates that I was legally blind. I tried to tell the coach in 1968 that my eyeglasses, they just diagnosed Coach Twyman that I can't see more than 10 yards in front of me with my eyeglasses on. He said, well, take them off and put on your helmet and get in there, because I want you to quarterback for me. I said, Coach, I cannot see with my eyeglasses on. He said, give me your glasses. You either give me your glasses or you go home. And I realized that, Boots and Mark, if I was going to play any position, it had to be quarterback, because I didn't have enough sight to be the receiver. And then as a running back, I would be running I would run through the right hole, but right into the individual. But I knew I can control my destiny if I called the plays. There were 44 plays. I memorized 8 of them, and I ran those 8 plays to win the championship, because I played to people's strength, not their weaknesses.
Man.
Okay, so who plays Dr. Bell in the movie?
I don't know. Maybe you know what? Just let him play himself. He looks that good anyway. We'll just go through the whole thing with him playing.
Bootsy, you're very kind to me. You're
Who's playing you, Doc? We're gonna play you.
Y'all very kind. Y'all sight impaired, but y'all got vision. Y'all got vision. Y'all sight impaired, but vision.
Look, Bootsy, I think you pretty much dropped the mic. We're gonna wrap it up right there, my brother. And so, look, Dr. Bell, you know we love you.
Yeah. And Mark, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Bootsy, because I'm on spring break with Montgomery County Public Schools. I now have the record as the longest Black administrator in central office. And Montgomery County Public Schools, we have 160,000 students, 209 schools, and 24,000 employees. And I've been honest with them about the site, but I keep them on the vision. If you know that it's really about education, education, and education, not that you have to go to college, you can have a career. But what you have to do is have somebody who has confidence and believe that you can. Hence, one of my mentees is Miles Frost, who is Michael Jackson on Broadway right now.
Man.
Okay, hold on. Before we wrap this up, Dr. Bell, I teach a broadcast journalism program in DC, the Deanwood area, for college and high school students.
Yes, sir.
I definitely would love for my students to interview you and have just an interview Q&A about your life. Like, it is. Let me tell you something. I tell Mark this every day. Man, we log on to this show. We don't know who is coming. We don't know much about them, but at the end, we end up becoming best friends.
I love you, man.
One of the most inspirational conversations I probably had in a long time. I don't even know you, but I know I love you already, man. And I can't wait for my students to meet you and just have a real conversation, because it's people like you in these historical contests that can help a lot of these kids get to the next stages of their lives. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for allowing me to meet you. And I need your information. Like, yeah, don't let Mark come in between us. I know you went to Coolidge and I went to McKinley Tech, but we could squash all these beefs.
Oh yeah, you got it, baby. You got it, baby.
I see that.
You know, I'm gonna say, just to tell them. They said, "Well, how do you want to be remembered?" I want to be remembered as a blessed brother. BLESS. I am a boy born in DC. That's my B. Who's Black. That's my B. L, legally blind. E, when at 8 years old. SS, who surpassed standards. that society placed on people who have to have eyesight to make eye contact. I don't make eye contact with my EYE. I will make the eye contact. I will contact you. It will be a celebration. It's going to be a Bootsy experience with your students. I love you, baby.